Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that at first glance might feel heavy, even isolating. But I promise you, by the end of this conversation, you will see how powerful and empowering it truly is. Today, we're talking about being alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Being alone? That doesn't sound empowering, Brene, but bear with me, because sometimes it's in the solitude when no one stands with you that you find your greatest strength. All right, friends, before we dive in, let's have a quick heart-to-heart. If you're here, it means you're invested in growth, in becoming a little braver, a little stronger, and a whole lot more you. And that's exactly what we're about. So here's the deal. If this resonates with you, if you find value in these conversations, then don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss a thing, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Because the best kind of learning, the kind we do together. Let's build something meaningful. One bold, wholehearted step at a time. Now let's get started. The first step in finding strength in solitude is learning to embrace the uncomfortable silence. And let's be honest, silence can feel intimidating. We live in a world that is constantly moving, constantly buzzing, filled with noise, distractions, and endless streams of opinions from every direction. Our phones are always within reach, conversations are always happening, and there's this unspoken belief that if we are alone, we are somehow missing out. But what if I told you that the moments of silence, the moments when no one is around, are actually the moments where you can grow the most? When no one is standing beside you, it's easy to feel as if you've been abandoned or that you don't belong. But solitude isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to sit with your own thoughts, your own emotions, and your own truth without interruption. And yes, it's uncomfortable at first. When the noise fades, when the opinions of others aren't drowning out your own voice, you may feel exposed, vulnerable, even anxious. That's normal. But discomfort is not something to run from, it's something to lean into, because discomfort is often the space where transformation begins. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in complete silence and simply let yourself be? No scrolling, no background noise, no looking for someone else to validate what you're thinking or feeling, just you, raw, unfiltered, and present. It's in those moments that you come face to face with your deepest fears, your biggest dreams, and the parts of yourself that you might have been neglecting. And that's powerful, because when you sit in silence long enough, what at first feels like loneliness begins to feel like clarity. You begin to hear the voice that has been buried beneath the noise of the world. Embracing the uncomfortable silence teaches you to be okay with yourself. It teaches you that you don't need external validation to feel whole. You don't need constant company to feel worthy. You are enough, exactly as you are, even when no one else is there to tell you so. And when you become comfortable in your own silence, when you learn to stand firm in the stillness, you develop an unshakable confidence, one that isn't dependent on who is standing beside you or cheering you on. This silence is where you find your strength. It's where you learn that you are not afraid of being alone, because solitude isn't emptiness. It's an opportunity to connect with yourself, to understand yourself, and to build a foundation so strong that even when the world around you is chaotic, you remain steady. So the next time you find yourself alone in the quiet, instead of reaching for your phone or trying to fill the space with distractions, just pause, sit with it, breathe, listen. Because the more you embrace the uncomfortable silence, the more you realize that it was never something to fear, it was something to embrace all along. When you find yourself alone without the constant presence of others, you are given one of the greatest gifts life has to offer, the chance to truly discover who you are. In a world where we are conditioned to seek validation from others, where we are constantly surrounded by influences telling us who we should be, what we should want, and how we should live, solitude becomes a rare and sacred space. It is in these moments when there are no distractions, no outside voices shaping our choices, that we have the opportunity to strip away everything that isn't truly us and reconnect with our most authentic self. When we are always surrounded by people, we unconsciously begin to mold ourselves to fit in. We adjust our personalities, our ambitions, and sometimes even our beliefs to align with the expectations of those around us. We start making decisions based on what is accepted rather than what is deeply fulfilling. But when you are alone, there is no one to impress, no one to perform for, no one whose approval you need. There is just you. And in that space, you start to ask yourself the questions that truly matter. What do I want? What do I value? Who am I when no one is watching? At first, these questions might feel overwhelming. You may realize that you've spent so much time meeting the expectations of others that you don't actually know yourself as well as you thought. And that's okay. Self-discovery isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating the space to explore, to question, and to redefine yourself on your own terms. It's about embracing the process of learning, growing, and evolving without fear of judgment. The beauty of solitude is that it allows you to see yourself clearly, without the noise and influence of the world clouding your vision. You start to notice what truly brings you joy, what energizes you, and what drains you. You begin to understand your own emotions more deeply, recognizing patterns in your thoughts and behaviors that you may not have noticed before. And perhaps most importantly, you start to recognize that you do not need external validation to feel whole. You are already enough just as you are. When you take the time to truly know yourself, you become someone who doesn't compromise their values just to fit in. You become someone who doesn't chase approval because you already approve of yourself. You begin to make choices that align with your heart rather than choices that simply please others. And that is where real freedom begins. This journey of self-discovery is not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments where you question whether you're on the right path, but every step you take towards knowing yourself is a step towards living a life that is authentically yours. And when you finally reach that place where you are comfortable in your own skin, where you trust your own intuition, and where you honor your own truth, you will realize that being alone was never about loneliness. It was about finding the strength to be yourself, unapologetically and without compromise. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build brick by brick through experience, hardship, and perseverance. And the most profound resilience, the kind that carries you through the darkest of times, is the resilience you build from within. It is easy to feel strong when you have a support system, when you have people around you to encourage you, lift you up, and remind you that you are not alone. But what happens when those voices fade? What happens when no one is there to reassure you, to validate your efforts, or to remind you of your worth? This is when true resilience is forged, not from the outside, but from deep within yourself. There will be moments in life when you feel like you are walking alone, moments when you face setbacks, failures, or disappointments, and there is no one around to pick you up. In those moments, it is tempting to give in to self-doubt, to believe that you are not strong enough, that you need someone else to help you through. This is where you must remind yourself that you are more capable than you realize. Strength is not about never falling. It is about getting back up every single time, even when no one is watching, even when no one is cheering you on. Resilience is built in the moments when you choose to keep going despite the pain. It is built when you refuse to let failure define you, when you see setbacks not as reasons to quit, but as lessons that make you strong. Every time you face adversity and push through it, you are adding another layer to your foundation, reinforcing your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. The more you rely on yourself, the more you realize that you do not need external validation to move forward. You do not need someone else to tell you that you are strong. You can see it in the way you rise after every fall. And resilience is not just about surviving. It is about growing. It is about using the challenges you face as fuel for your own evolution. When you stop seeing difficulties as obstacles and start viewing them as opportunities to build strength, your entire mindset shifts. You stop fearing hardship and start embracing it as part of the journey. You stop waiting for someone to save you and recognize that you have always been capable of saving yourself. But resilience is also about self-trust. It is about knowing that no matter what happens, you will find a way through. It is about believing in your ability to adapt, to learn, to endure. And that belief does not come from other people. It comes from proving to yourself time and time again that you are strong enough to face anything. So when you find yourself alone in a difficult season, when the weight of the world feels too heavy and no one is there to lighten the load, remember this: you are building something powerful. Every time you push forward, you are reinforcing the foundation of your own strength. And one day you will look back and realize that the moments you thought would break you were the very moments that built you. Self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools you will ever have, yet it is often the last thing we offer ourselves. We live in a world that glorifies toughness, perseverance, and pushing through pain without stopping to acknowledge the need for grace. We are taught that success comes from being relentless, from always striving for more, and from holding ourselves to impossibly high standards. And while ambition and resilience are important, they are incomplete without self-compassion. Because the truth is, you cannot build true strength without also learning to be kind to yourself. When you are alone without external validation or support, self-compassion becomes your lifeline. It is the voice inside you that says you are doing your best and that is enough. It is the gentle reminder that you do not have to have it all figured out right now, that your worth is not tied to how much you accomplish, and that struggling does not make you weak. It makes you human. Without self-compassion, solitude can feel harsh and unforgiving. But when you learn to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend, being alone transforms from something painful into something restorative. Many of us struggle with self-compassion because we have spent so much time being our own harshest critics. We replay our mistakes over and over, telling ourselves we should have done better, that we should be further along, that we should be stronger, smarter, more successful. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, believing that if we just push harder, we will finally be enough. But here's the truth: you are already enough. Not when you achieve more, not when you prove yourself to others, not when you stop making mistakes. Right now, exactly as you are. Learning self-compassion means learning to speak to yourself with kindness instead of judgment. It means forgiving yourself for the things you wish you had done differently. It means understanding that setbacks and failures are not reflections of your worth. They are simply part of being alive. When you can offer yourself grace, when you can sit in your own solitude and say, I am worthy, even when no one else is here to tell me so, you unlock a strength that no external approval can ever give you. And self-compassion is not about making excuses or avoiding growth. It is about recognizing that growth is not a linear process. There will be days when you stumble, when you feel lost, when you make mistakes. And on those days, you have a choice. You can either criticize yourself, making the journey even harder, or you can extend kindness to yourself, giving yourself the space to learn and improve without shame. One of the greatest myths we believe is that being hard on ourselves will make us better. But the truth is, self-criticism does not lead to growth. It leads to fear, to self-doubt, to paralysis. Self-compassion, on the other hand, creates the space for real transformation. When you believe that you are worthy of kindness, even in your worst moments, you stop being afraid of failure. You stop equating your mistakes with your identity. You begin to trust yourself, not because you are perfect, but because you are capable of learning, adapting, and moving forward with grace. So if you find yourself alone, struggling with doubt or disappointment, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you are human. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. And know that in choosing self-compassion, you are not choosing weakness. You are choosing strength, healing, and a resilience that comes from within. Because in the end, the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one of all. Make it a kind one. Standing in your own power is one of the most liberating and transformative experiences you can have. It means fully embracing who you are, trusting your own voice, and refusing to let the opinions, expectations, or judgments of others dictate your worth or your path. It is about recognizing that your strength does not come from the approval of others, but from the unwavering belief in yourself. And yet, for so many of us, standing in our power feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. We are taught from an early age to seek validation from the outside world, to look to others for confirmation that we are good enough, smart enough, capable enough. But true power is not given to you by someone else. It is something you claim for yourself. When you are alone, when no one else is there to lift you up or cheer you on, that is when you have the opportunity to step fully into your own power. It is in these moments of solitude that you realize you do not need permission to be who you are. You do not need a crowd to affirm your worth. You do not need external validation to move forward with confidence. Everything you need to stand tall already exists within you. The challenge is learning to trust it. Standing in your own power means owning your story, all of it, the victories and the failures, the strengths and the vulnerabilities. It means no longer shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. It means letting go of the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough. Because when you truly stand in your power, you realize that your worth is not up for negotiation. It does not rise and fall based on who supports you, who agrees with you, or who understands you. Your worth is constant, unshaken, and undeniable. But standing in your power also requires courage. It requires the willingness to be seen for who you truly are, without apology. And that is not always easy. The world will test you. People will doubt you. There will be moments when you question yourself, when you wonder if you are strong enough to walk this path alone. But those moments are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are growing. Because every time you choose yourself, every time you refuse to betray your own truth for the comfort of others, you strengthen the foundation of your own power. This journey is not about arrogance or proving yourself to anyone. It is about standing firm in your values, in your beliefs, and in your purpose, even when no one else stands with you. It is about trusting that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the path ahead is uncertain. It is about understanding that your power does not come from external circumstances. It comes from within. So when you find yourself standing alone, when you feel like no one else sees or understands your vision, take a deep breath and remind yourself, you are enough. You are capable. You are strong. Your power is not dependent on the presence of others. It is not something that can be given to you, nor can it be taken away. It is yours. And the moment you stop seeking permission to be who you are, the moment you stop waiting for the world to affirm your place, that is the moment you step fully into your own power. Stand tall, stand firm, and never forget that your greatest strength has always been within you. So my friends, the next time you find yourself alone, feeling like no one is standing with you, remember this. You are stronger than you think. You are not lost. You are building. You are growing, and you are becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because sometimes being alone is not the absence of love or connection. It is the very place where you build the strength, resilience, and courage to go out and give the world the best of who you are. Stand tall, even when you're standing alone. Thank you.